welcome. You're watching ESPN Cricket Info Match Day in association with our technology partner Vivo. And at the pre-match show, we promised you an exciting encounter, and boy, it's turned out to be one. At one point, it was 3 for 3, but at the end, Bangladesh have managed to get 261 runs. That's the scorecard there, and it was Mushfiqur Rahim, the star for Bangladesh, with a 144-run knock. 261, remember we were talking at that pre-match show, 260 seems to be the par score here, 49.3 overs, and that's what they got. That partnership with Mithun, when they were effectively 3 for 3, is what has taken Bangladesh there. But plenty of talking points. Malinga, the star again with the ball. With me, Deep Dasgupta, and Farveez Maharoof also joins us. Deep, before we talk about that knock from that little man, let's talk about that Tamim Iqbal walking out, batting with one-handed. Did he channelize his inner Malcolm Marshall? I remember him doing that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah? I remember when I was a kid, I also saw someone like Gushran Singh doing that in a Ranji Trophy final. But yeah, I mean, that was phenomenal because that ended up adding another, what, 26 odd runs, if I'm not wrong. That actually, I mean, those runs are going to be very, very crucial because 260 is a very good score. I wouldn't say it's a winning total, but I think they've got something to fight with on the board. Yeah.
Okay, Farveez, it's not that Tamim's got those important runs, but he came out to bat, which has helped now Bangladesh reach that 261. Do you think that was the game changer, that move?
I mean, too early to call to say a game changer, but definitely inspiration to any cricketer anywhere in the world. I mean, just coming out with one hand. And hats off to Tamim, and as Deep correctly said, that 26 runs may be the difference. 260 for me, it's a pass score, but chasing Sri Lankans, we don't have a good history of chasing down scores well in the last 2-3 years. So it's going to be interesting to see how we are going to chase this score with a one batsman actually down.
Okay, let's talk about the star for Bangladesh, Mushfiqur Rahim. He may be 5 feet 3 inches tall, but he stood tall amongst the ruins as far as Bangladesh's batting was concerned. The star, absolutely, that of course is Lasith Malinga, and he got 4 wickets in those 10 overs that he bowled with 23 runs with an economy of 2.30. We'll get to Mushfiqur a little later. Let's talk about the star then. You know, we were deep before the match started talking about whether he's match fit, whether he'll be able to make a comeback. He's just shown what he's made of.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's, leave aside those 4 wickets. For me, I was looking at how he was bowling. Because at times you get lucky, you get unlucky. So I don't judge people by the numbers itself. But the way the ball that he got Shakib out. I mean, he's a top batsman, the top in the world in this format, especially. That Yorker, swinging Yorker, first up was absolutely brilliant. The first few overs that he bowled was with pace, and this is the wicket I'm talking about. The second one
ball
was
of the match so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, to get a ball like that first up as a batsman was it's a nightmare for a batsman. But you know, the overall, apart from just the 4 wickets that he's got, the way he bowled, look at that pitch map. It's like line and length, spot on. This is what you would want from your bowler. And somebody, it didn't look like he was away from international cricket at all. I mean, the way he bowled was superb.
Right. Farveez, I'd like your thoughts on this. As Deep says, playing those domestic matches, as we were talking about, also that global T20 in Canada that Malinga was playing, but international cricket, completely a different ball game. We all know that he's got the experience, but then it never looked like he's been away from international cricket. That's how good he was.
Indeed, he was. I mean, it just shows how professionally he is. I mean, he just kept training hard whenever he was back in Colombo after the global tournament in Canada, and he played the last month in Sri Lanka for the SLC T20 League, and he bowled pretty well there as well. And now, I mean, one more thing to add to what Deep said, you know, the consistent pace he was having it was high on 130s or middle 130s. That is something very consistent right throughout this game, which was very impressive to see, especially after coming back after a long time, to consistently bowl at that pace. And obviously, I mean, taking 4 wickets, and you know, what a comeback. I mean, he's a champion. He has proven all over the world, and he's just proven again.
Just quickly, I wanted to make a point. We've seen cricketers taking a sabbatical or retiring from international cricket just to want to play T20, and it hasn't worked out for them.
Right.
You know, because they've been out of international cricket. So credit to him, he's been out of international cricket playing T20s and local cricket, but still managing to do what he was doing before he kind of took a sabbatical. So credit to him to just come back the way he was a year before.
Okay, talking about Malinga, do you think the captain missed a trick there? 8th over, I think, took him off, brought him back by the 26th over, but by that time, the partnership was 114 runs.
So no, that's where I believe a captain is shackled, because you know you've got Malinga, but that is your only wicket-taking option. So you've got, and he's just got 10 overs. So you've got to be very careful how you use him. Now he used him in the middle overs and see what happened in the death. So you had to bowl with Pereira and Shanaka in the death. So and that's exactly what Farveez meant before the start of the game, that you're going to miss Akila, because if you have Akila, you have another wicket-taking option in the middle overs then.
Okay, so same question to you, Farveez. You know, one way of looking at it, as Deep says, that you only have 10 overs from Malinga, but then could they have like caught on to the neck of the Bangladesh team? 3 for 3, he had just bowled 4 overs. He came back and picked that wicket. Had that partnership not happened, probably Bangladesh wouldn't have lasted those 50 overs or close to 50 overs that they have now.
Ideally, as soon as Mithun got out as well, and before he got out in the 26th or something like that.
26th.
And I would have had Lasit to bowl at least another couple of overs in the middle, something around 18th and 20th, just to break the rhythm, because Mithun was going strong, and obviously Lasit being only a trump card to get a wicket, and that would have been Angelo would have missed a trick, but overall I thought he was pretty impressive with whatever spell he came in. And in the middle, Akila Dhananjay was missed desperately because Dilruwan Perera just bowled 1 or 2 overs. That's about it. I mean, he was a specialist spinner.
Right. Funny, we're talking about Sri Lanka missing one bowler. Of course, Akila Dhananjay is a class act. But the fact is, that which is what we were talking at the pre-show, they had 8 bowling options. So options really don't matter. If you've got 5 good bowlers, that's it.
Absolutely spot on. I mean, if you're looking at that bowling attack and I'm in the opposition, I was like, okay, I need to handle Malinga. Others I can manage. So you're just looking Malinga and say, okay, let's just forget about a 50 over game. Let's just look at it as a 40 over game. Let's play Malinga out and we can handle. That's where, it doesn't matter how many bowling options you have. As long as you have good 2-3 wicket taking options, it makes a huge difference. And also dropping catches does not help. I mean, if you look at, they've dropped 4 catches, and you're talking about when these guys weren't set, when Mushfiqur wasn't set, he was dropped. When Mithun wasn't set, he was dropped. It could well have been 120, 150 maybe if they're taking their catches.
Okay, good question, Farveez. I come to you. I mean, Sri Lanka always renowned to being a good fielding side as well as a good catching side. This was an aberration according to you?
I mean, you can say so. I mean, last couple of weeks, take our fielding, it's been very inconsistent, and today it's another showcase of missed chances. I mean, as Deep just said, Mushfiqur was dropped, Mithun was dropped, and it was simple catches in this level. You guys just have to grab it.
Okay.
But overall, I thought the last couple of years, if you had really go into detail or stats, I think our fielding has let down a lot.
Okay, well, that's interesting to note. Sri Lanka, as I mentioned at that point, that always known to be a great fielding side, but as Farveez is saying there, last 2 years they've been inconsistent, and today they had to pay a price for that. Remember, at one point that partnership could have been broken. 10 runs, I think Mushfiqur was when he was dropped, gone on to get that 144 runs. Let's talk about his knock. If there's one gutsy player in this Bangladesh team, for all occasions, it's this man, and today again he stood up.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen that before as well. I mean, look at all the parameters. Obviously 144, strike rate 96, and he was okay. He had a partnership with Mithun for a while, but then he didn't have too many partners after that. So he was like the lone ranger, so to say, and he was brilliant. And like I said, this is not the first time I've seen him do that for Bangladesh. He's done that before as well. And that's the reason why when he was keeping wickets and in Test match cricket, I always thought he should be batting top of the order. And if that means no keeping, so be it. You have other wicket keepers. This guy needs to bat top of the order, and I think number 4 is a great spot for him.
Okay, just looking at this partnership as well, this is the 3rd wicket partnership between Mithun and Rahim. This, I believe, is the highest partnership for 3rd wicket that against Sri Lanka that Bangladesh have managed. 131 runs is what they got, 23.3 overs, bided their time to begin with because they had lost those wickets, and then look at that run rate, also incredible, caught up with it towards the inning, finishing with 9 fours and 3
sixes. What was really good about the partnership and the knock as well is how they kind of planned it. okay, they knew they had spinners and all these guys coming and they're good against them. So they waited for the spinners to come in and they capitalized on the spinners. If you look at Dilruvan Pereira, he just bowled 3 overs. He's one of the main bowlers.
Yes.
Look at Aponso, he went for runs. But as soon as when Lakmal and Malinga was on, they played it safe. They just played through that spell. And then, so you could see that they've planned this innings out and executed as well.
Okay, we'll also take a look at how the Bangladesh team is performing. Quick word before that, because we were talking about, Malinga's performance. Shakib at number 3, would you have sent him?
I'm not too sure about Shakib at 3, and especially when you have a wicket in the very first over. Shakib, I can understand 3 when your opening partnership has played 8-10 overs, the ball is kind of old and all, but not at 3 and very first over, to be honest. I mean, I would look at maybe other options there.
Okay, quickly let's take a look at now the Bangladesh bowling, because now it is up to them to defend that. Total 261 is what they have managed, and it will be up to the Bangladeshi bowlers, as I mentioned. You've got an experienced bowling lineup. Farveez, I'll let you talk through the Bangladeshi bowling lineup. You think they have it in them to defend this total? It's a par total. Sri Lanka, I know, is a dangerous batting attack, but this Bangladesh bowling lineup have enough experience, you think?
Indeed, they have the experience when you have Murtaza and Shakib Al Hasan, as well as Rubel Hassan, Mushfiqur Razim. I mean, those are top-class, world-class bowlers in their disposal. I mean, all depends on first 10 overs for me. I mean, how the first 10 overs goes about it. If Sri Lanka gets on to a good start, I think, with the batting lineup we have, it'll be a good chase to look at. But in case if we lose 1 or 2 wickets in the power play, that's going to be interesting to see, because in the early the show I said, we have 1 batsman short for my liking, because playing at this one at 6 and this for me 7 is a bit too early. So it all depends on the first 10 overs. If Bangladesh get on to a groove, I think Sri Lanka will be struggling.
Okay. One factor that we haven't considered, and we've always seen whenever there are matches there in the Middle East, that's the dew factor. That's going to come into play. I know Bangladesh rely a lot on their spinners.
Yes, that could be, and Farveez mentioned this before we went on air, that how important this could be, the dew factor. But having said that, I would look at Bangladesh and expect them to pick wickets, because that's the mistake that Sri Lanka did, was kind of try and curtail the flow of runs. But in cricket, irrespective of which format you're playing, if you're not going to pick wickets, you're not going to stop the runs. So as long as you're picking wickets, you're fine. And as far as Bangladesh is concerned, they should be looking to attack rather than just defend.
Talking about attack, we've seen them get Mehendi Hasan with the new ball. He's been very, very effective. And as we were saying, if dew does come into play, it's going to be tough for the spinner. That'd be a good idea for them.
That surely would be a good idea. And he's a kid. I've seen him for the last few years. He's a very smart kid. He picks up things very easily. His match awareness is very good. Obviously, I see him bowling a few overs right at the top, and especially you've got Taranga, who's a left-hander. There are quite a few left-handers in the Sri Lankan side as well.
Okay, also the stats suggest that, chasing here seems to be really the way to go at Sharjah. So if you're batting second, there you have it in Dubai, last 5 ODIs. The team that's batting second have won 4 out of those 5. So that's a great stat for the Sri Lankan fans, Farveez, you'd say?
Hopefully it will continue to make it 5 today. I mean, one more good point, you all brought up, Mehendi Hasan with the new ball. I think he'll be a handful, because if Kusal Janit and Pultarang opens, I think Mehendi Hasan will definitely take up the new ball, because purely Rubel Hassan and Mushfiqur Rahman prefers the older ball with the reverse swing and the cutters coming in. So I think it's a good choice to have actually Dhananjay Silla may be open as well, thinking not to send the 2 left-handers right away, just to pursue Kusal Janit batting at 4, because he's been scoring a lot of runs for us at number 4. So Dhananjay De Silva to open, an option for me.
Interesting. Dhananjay De Silva, Farveez says, could open. That be out of box thinking. Okay, gentlemen, almost out of time. 262, 260 seems the pass score. Looking at the Sri Lankan batting and the Bangladesh bowling, what do you reckon?
I'd say it's still a close one, but I'd put Bangladesh 55-45.
Okay. Farveez?
I'll say 55 Sri Lanka, 45 Bangladesh. But
wouldn't expect anything else from you.
I mean, as I said before, it all depends on the first 10 overs for me. I mean, how the first 10 overs going to play. I think that'll we'll probably have a clear picture.
All right. Your earlier predictions actually haven't come true as yet. Haven't seen any Nagin dance, so I don't know how seriously
It was
to take
there. I saw that in the audience though.
The audience did that. Not the team, but just the audience member did it. But of course, then you got to realize that Bangladesh haven't bowled. They'll be out bowling now. That's the time that they'll get that chance to be doing the Nagin dance. Thanks so much for joining us, Farveez Maharoof, Deep Dasgupta. Of course, we'll have them back at the end of the match. Here's a reminder: you are watching ESPN Cricket Info Match Day in association with our technology partner Vivo. We'll see you at the end of the match.